Hey, how's it going, everybody? So unfortunately, these videos, or the series that I've been working on, has gotten really delayed because I've had a super busy work week, but I finally had a day off, so I'm going to go ahead and start with part one. And part one, of course, seeing as how First Light was the most previous Trials map, we're going to be talking about fixing Trials. This is going to be definitive. I will not be talking about any other suggestions for Trials, at least for a while. So let's get right into it. Part one, fixing Destiny, Trials of Osiris. So, seeing as how Trials of Osiris has been out for almost 2 years now, the game mode has definitely gotten very stale, and it really does need something to change it up. And with the past couple weeks, the past few weeks since Festival of the Lost, we've seen no res, no radar, and First Light. So a map that was deemed too big for sixes, taken out of the rotation back in year one, and now it's brought back as a threes Trials map. It's definitely been something that shook up the Destiny community, and despite what a lot of people have been saying, I really do think it was a great addition. For anyone who's seen any of my Combined Arms videos, you'll know that I like the bigger maps because it does lead to more variety as far as primary weapons goes. You can actually use scouts, you can get good mileage out of pulse rifles, close range hand cannons are still really good, and of course it's better to see snipers actually sniping as opposed to shotgunners skating around corners. So step one, fixing Trials, of course, it is going to be to vary up the map selection even more. I really do think that going from Asylum 1 week, or Anomaly I should say because it is a little bit smaller, from Anomaly to Widow's Court to Bastion or Skyshock, so one of those huge maps really does add a ton of diversity. It's going to be a different flavor each week for Trials if we go along that route, and that's something I really think could work to help a very old, stale-feeling playlist. Of course, Trials doesn't feel the fatigue as much as something like Control would, but seeing as it is Destiny's endgame, you want to keep the endgame fun, and the endgame is fun when it's taking you out of your comfort zone and forcing you to play different playstyles, adapt different weapons to your loadout. So changing bi-weekly between Asylum to First Light and then maybe back to Cauldron and then to Skyshock could be really interesting. So I'd love to see some more implementation of bigger maps. Second, of course, this will probably be universally agreed upon, switching sides in between rounds. Now the reason, of course, why this is important is because it keeps everything 100% fair. A lot of people will claim that they've been cheated by maps, for example, spawning bottom side. Sorry, my mic kind of died there, but as I was saying, a lot of people will claim they've been cheated, for example, spawning bottom side on Widow's Court, and this will help to really even up the gameplay. So if you spawn bottom side one round, you're going to spawn top side the next. It keeps the game 100% fair, and when everything is 100% fair, everything is 10 times more competitive. So in favor of fairness and for competitiveness, which are two things I really enjoy in my first-person shooters, changing sides each round, it's definitely a no-brainer. And of course, next we have something that was introduced with the Festival of the Lost, and that is no revives. I 100% honestly agree that elimination should not have revives. It's called elimination. If you die, you should be out. And that's it. 3 strikes, you're out. You die, your friends die. That's 3 strikes, you're done. That round is over. The revive mechanic can lead to some pretty swingy plays, which, yes, they might seem pretty clutch, but in reality, in my opinion, and this is strictly my opinion when I say this, I really do think it cheapens the experience when you can just go and pick up your teammate and come back in that way. I think if someone gets a 1v3 clutch, that is way more impressive than getting a res and then they come back with a 2v3. That's just not as fun to me. It's not as cool. It's not as fun to watch. If I want to see someone go big, I want to see a 1v3 when they're the last man standing. So if you are the last one up on your team, you have to be the one to make a play, and if it's going to be done, you have to do it right now because your whole round depends on it. Which, in my opinion, that stress is what drives me in video games. I strive for that moment because the more comfortable you get in those situations, the better you can perform, and when you can perform better more naturally, then you just get better as a player altogether. So I really think it'll drive up individual skill, and it'll lead teams to play more together and cut down on people who tend to play a little bit more carelessly. I do want to see more room for being able to punish players for making bad plays because really the game should be more geared towards rewarding better players. Alright, and for my last point I want to make, quite simply put, this game mode needs to be faster. If you talk to a lot of competitive players, a lot of them will agree that Trials of Osiris to them isn't competitive because of the way it can be played. It can be played extremely passively. So my solution for this is, of course, to make the flag spawn in much quicker than it does. So as you know right now, the rounds are 2 minutes long, and the flag spawns in after those 2 minutes, where after 30 seconds after the flag spawns in, whoever's closest to the flag or whoever gets the capture in between that time wins the round. But let me run this by you real quick. What if the flag spawned in the middle of the map 30 seconds after the round began? So everybody's rushing to a central location so they can set up map control the best possible way they can because they are playing that flag right off the bat. It'll limit the engagements to certain areas on the map. So if a map is a little bit too big, then it'll help to narrow those gunfights a little bit more. It'll keep people from spawn camping in the back of the map, and it'll speed up the gameplay a lot more, make it that much more fun to play and that much more fun to watch, and really keep you on the rocks, I guess you could say. You got to be trying the entire time, and that's something I want to see come to Destiny. I want to see a reason to try really, really hard in the endgame PvP. But that's all for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your solutions for fixing Trials of Osiris down below, and of course my next video will be talking about fixing strikes. So I'll see you again soon. Thank you all for watching. See ya.